Good morning. Good morning, guys. Hey, good afternoon. I was planning on doing this morning. Hi, Facebook Live audience. Type yes if you can hear me. I've been having some challenges. So if you can hear me, go ahead and type yes in the comments. And welcome to my podcast listeners, healthcaretaxadvisors.com. I wanted to kind of give you some quick information about things that are going on right now with the IRS. As we've known, government was shut down for the last, 35 days. They've been opened up for about a week here. But there's some really important information that you need to know before we start filing your tax returns for the year. Here's what we're going to cover in this in regards to what you need to do when it comes down to filing your tax returns. You see the title of my headline here is "Do not file a tax return if you own a business or you own real estate." And here's the reason why. Just over a week ago, final regulations from the IRS came in. Literally gave us 300 pages of massive changes just over a week ago. And the people it's going to impact right now, it's going to impact people who currently have a business or have real estate. So if you currently run a business, whether it's a sole proprietorship, S corp, partnership, own any type of real estate investments, here's what you want to do. You want to either not file your tax returns yet, or file an extension for those tax returns. Now, if you're a simple W-2 employee, you just have a job, you get a W-2, you should be able to go ahead and file those tax returns. But again, if you have a business, real estate investments, I have a lot of real estate agents that I work with, a lot of real estate brokers that I work with, a lot of small business owners. You do not want to file those tax returns. And here's the reasons why. Because of those 300 pages of tax changes that just happened, tax software companies haven't updated their software yet that shows these new changes that we just got. So if you've actually already done a return and submitted that return, it is wrong. It is incorrect. You don't have the accurate numbers that are on there. That's a huge issue. If you filed, I just brought that up. Now, and here's the thing too, you're not going to know what the impact, based on kind of what those changes, you're not going to know what the real impact for your 2018 returns until we know what all these changes are. Give you a perfect example. I don't want to go too much in detail because it gets complicated. Originally, we have this 199A deduction where you got a 20% deduction, and we all kind of were looking at that, and there's certain requirements for that, but we all thought it was going to be a standard 20% reduction. Well, in the recent regulations, the IRS decided, well, we need to adjust that number on self-employment taxes that are going to be taken out, that need to be taken out of that number. So I don't want to, like I said, I'm not going to get too much in the details, but we just have to make sure you have the correct numbers when you file those returns. Also, here's another huge change that we saw. I need to read this because, like I said, it's a lot of deductions. If you currently own real estate, let me back up here. The IRS gave us temporary regulations back in August of 2019 in regards to this 20% income deduction. However, based on the new regulations that came out, you have an option whether to elect the 2018 regulations or the 2019 regulations. And there's some big differences between those. It's kind of an all or nothing type of situation. You can't pick the regulations from 2018 that we got in August and then the regulations that we recently got. You need to decide which ones are going to be in your best interest. The other thing that we also got is that if you, not only do you, again, I'm reading this as I'm going along here. Here's something that you must do for 2018 tax returns. If you own real estate, no matter which set of regulations that you decide, one of those things is that you must issue a 1099 for all rental properties that you own if you paid anyone more than $600 that's not an employee or did not operate through a corporation, you must issue those 1099s. I got a bunch of friends in the industry. They're having to get those 1099s, and you have until tomorrow to get that done. So make sure you get that done. Another thing that just happened, effective with the 2019 rules, which you may elect out of in 2018, but are mandatory for 2019, they have a brand new thing called real estate enterprise groups. Now, each of those real estate enterprise groups must have separate books and records for each property. And kind of the way this is looking like is that residential real estate is a group, commercial real estate is a group. Now you need to keep separate books for each of those properties. So, and there's a 250-hour qualifying of real estate activities. Again, it's detailed. I just kind of want to give you a summary here of what's going on. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in here. Hi, Diane. Well, Diane Kennedy here was one of the individuals that was giving us this updates. Wanted to give you a couple of things too in regards to the IRS and the shutdown. I'm actually going to read this off. Right now, if you had an audit appointment that was canceled prior to the shutdown, when will it be rescheduled? IRS is stating that what they're doing is they're completing the assessments of their assigned inventory. So the auditors are doing this, and your examiner, your auditor, is going to reach out to you to reschedule your appointment. It's going to take several business days before your auditor is able to reach you due to the recent closure. Again, go ahead and type down your questions that you might have, and I'll answer them as soon as I finish reading this. If you had an audit appointment that was scheduled for a day when the government was shut down and you still haven't heard from your auditor, what should you do? Again, your auditor was furloughed during the shutdown, and they were prohibited from performing their duties. And once your auditor has completed a review of their inventory, they will reschedule your appointment. That's going to take several business days to do that. If you left a message for your auditor but you haven't received a phone call, again, it's kind of you're in a holding pattern, it looks like. You sent documents to an auditor. Why haven't you heard back? Literally, the IRS had a 5 million pieces of mail backlog when they went back to work. They're getting roughly about 700 pieces of mail per day. That's the other issue in regards to it. So I know yesterday I had a client that I had actually got notified that they got a collection due process appeal denied. So I immediately called the IRS, and I call it the bat number to the IRS. I was actually able to connect within 3 minutes. So if that is the case, where was I going with that? If you need to get in contact with them, that when I called the regular line, it was about a 2-hour wait. You can sit and wait. If you have a tax professional that is able to contact them, they might be able to get there a little bit faster. That's where I was going with that. When I contacted them, they had said that a collection due process appeal was denied, but when I called them and they looked at the records, they said that it was still in processing, that their records were incorrect. So you really want to be careful in regards to that. Elaine, I'm going to answer a couple of questions here. Is it okay to file if you're doing simple tax filing on TurboTax? Yeah, Elaine, you should be fine. I kind of know your situation. You should be fine if that's what you're doing. The big issue is if you own a business or currently own any real estate, you definitely want to extend or just at least delay for now filing that tax return. Yesterday, I also got a call. This is something really important. I'm going to cover this a lot more in a different podcast and live YouTube, Facebook Live. Is please, if you filed your taxes and you have a large balance, you're not going to go to jail. I had a client call me crying on the phone that she had actually done the preliminary taxes, a preliminary kind of tax, what her taxes were going to be for the upcoming year. And she started bawling, thinking that she was going to go to jail for not being able to pay the IRS all that money up front. There are options. You're not going to go to jail for not being able to pay your taxes. Now, might be a different story if you're intentionally deciding not to file taxes. That's a whole different story. But please, if you know anybody that has tax problems, tax resolution, that need tax resolution, or they owe big balances, or maybe haven't even filed their tax returns, what you can do, you can go to meetwithcarlosS.com, have them file. Actually, I'm going to type in, if you know anybody that has a tax problem, I'm typing in right here, tax debt consultant.com. I think I spelled that right. If you go to that website, you can send them there, and then I can actually get in contact with them to help them deal with their back tax issues. Any other questions? There's just so much going on. Again, I'm in touch with a bunch of tax professionals. Diane Kennedy, I know we meet on a bi-weekly basis, and quite a few other tax professionals that we're trying to keep up with this update. So I guess the big thing to kind of summarize this YouTube Live is, if you own a business, own real estate, you definitely do not want to file your tax returns yet. You want to go ahead and file an extension for right now, because we don't know when this tax software is going to get updated, and we're hoping it's soon, but we still don't know. And you're welcome, Elaine. Jesse, yeah, you're right. If the government does shut down, yeah, there will probably be further delays in regards to that. And also, I'm looking forward to helping you with your the question that you had for me earlier today. So if you have any more questions, go ahead. Oh, somebody else just typed a question. Henry, Henry said hello. Hi, Henry. How you doing, buddy? Anyways, if you're back east, I know I see a few of my friends here from back east. Please stay warm. We're only at 65 degrees, but I guess we got 5 days of rain coming up. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and check out of here unless there's any more questions. If you have questions, please go ahead and actually, you can IM me your question. If you need to set an appointment for tax preparation, definitely meet with your tax person. Just don't file it again. But if you need to meet with me, meetwithcarlosS.com. Or if you have tax problems that you need to get solved, go to taxdebtconsultant.com to book a report appointment or a free report. With that, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.